Right, so today I'm going to be reviewing the new Stealth 2 driver from Taylormade. So I've got to know this driver quite a lot over the last couple of days. I've hit loads of balls with it on the GC quad, I've hit tons of balls on the range with it, and I've even taken it out on the golf course here and played 9 holes. So I've been able to test this thoroughly, so hopefully I'm going to give you a very good idea on what this driver is actually like in today's video. Now we're going to split this up into a few different categories. So we're first going to talk about the technology in this driver and what they've done differently this year compared to the original Stealth last year. I'll give you a very condensed version of what Taylormade go on about here with the technology. So to start with, they've introduced more carbon fibre. So more carbon fibre across the face, again to try and keep everything nice and light, faster ball speeds, etc, etc. So they've changed the face a little bit with their inverted cone technology, which is basically suggesting that off-centered hits are going to be punished less, they're going to keep the ball speeds high, and they're going to make sure they stay more on line. That's Taylormade's big thing with this driver at the moment, forgiveness as they're calling it. They're not saying this is going to be longer, which is good. It's nice that a manufacturer isn't just saying this year it's going to be 20 yards longer. They're saying this is going to be more forgiving, so less punishing on off-centered hits. It's going to find more fairways than the original Stealth. I will tell you about the testing that I did, see if that's the reality, but that's what Taylormade is saying with this driver. They've changed the sound profile of this, which I actually enjoy. I think it sounds a lot better than the original Stealth driver, which is good. They've made it slightly duller than the original. The original was a little bit more tinny. So I'd say the sound profile, which they've changed, is a lot better in this Stealth 2. And lastly, they've changed this weight track in the bottom. They've just gone to 15 grams. The original Stealth was at 10 grams, basically suggesting here that when you move that weight port into the fade or draw setting, it's going to make a bit of a bigger difference to helping someone's ball flight, i.e. if you're someone who struggles with a slice, you would move that weight port more into the draw setting, so into the heel, which is hopefully going to straighten that ball flight out a bit more than what the original Stealth was doing with their 10 gram weight in the track. Now we'll go into the looks of this driver, the aesthetics, and we'll compare it to the original Stealth, and I've got both of them here. You should hopefully see them on the camera. Now for me, there's good points and bad points about the Stealth 2. So we'll start with the good points with the looks. The bottom of the club head, in my opinion, looks much better. So I don't know what it is. I think the carbon helps, looks a bit more premium. The red colouring is slightly darker, more matty now than the original Stealth. And I don't know why, to me that just looks more premium, looks better, looks a bit more expensive, getting a bit more for what you're paying. The original Stealth almost looks like it reminds me of a child's painting, like they're getting paint that is all over their hands and face, and that's what it reminds me of. Strange, I know, but I feel like this one just looks a little bit better. Now, unfortunately, we turn the club over and we see a difference. So what Taylormade did with the previous Stealth was like a matte black finish on top, which I really like. For me, that's a big plus. I love the Cobra and the Callaway, especially the Rogue ST, and I love that matte black finish on top. Unfortunately, what they've done this year is they've changed it, which they needed to, of course. They didn't want to make it look the same from the top. They've gone for this like shiny black, where you can see your reflection. I just don't like that. It marks up more. Your fingerprints get on it. I'm just not a massive fan of that look. For me, what I would have massively preferred if they kept the matte black finish and just had like a red tint along the edge, like they did with the Sims and the Sim 2. I just think that would look really good. Keep the matte black, red line along the back edge of the crown. I think that would looked a lot better. So the bottom, better than the original Stealth. The top, I prefer the original. Last but not least, with the looks, they've changed the look of the face ever so slightly. So with the original Stealth, they had a bit more black coming out from behind the red, whereas here they've gone a lot more red, which I actually prefer. I think they've gone for that because they're saying more carbon this year. So the red being the carbon feature, if you like, on the aesthetic point of view. So more red, showing that they've got more carbon. I think I do prefer the more red than what it was last year. So it's a good looking driver. I think unfortunately the main thing you'll look at is the top of the club, which I do prefer the original Stealth for. Now, the most important thing, the performance. So what we're going to do first, we're going to talk about what I saw on the golf course. So as I said, I took this out for 9 holes, just on the short course here at Hale Golf, and I hit a load of drives. And I got on well with it on the golf course. I quite liked the feel of it. I felt nice. I liked the sound better than last year. I was hitting it pretty straight, really. When I was missing centre, it wasn't fantastic. I felt like the miss was a bit worse than when I tested the Ping G430. If you haven't watched my review of that, make sure you do. Link will be up here somewhere. I just felt like when I hit it well out of the centre, it was great. The flight was lovely, really low spin, felt like it went a long way. When I missed centre, it wasn't fantastic. I wasn't hugely confident of where it was going. And I think if I was to be in a pressure situation on a tight par 4, I wouldn't be massively comfortable with this. I think I'd be more comfortable with the ping. But saying that, I was hitting it quite well that day. I was hitting more good drives than bad for sure. And I was enjoying the flight of this. So as I said, I took this on the simulator at Hale Golf, measured it with GC Quad numbers, and I compared the Stealth 2 with the original Stealth as well. So let's get into the numbers here. So firstly, the Stealth 2, average ball speed of 173.6 miles per hour. Backspin was an average of 2,493 revs with an average carry of 306 yards. Very strong numbers, 306 carry, very good. When I was hitting them well, I was getting them up there to like 320, 325 carry as well. So when you hit this club well, it does go. It is a bombing driver. Now, the original Stealth. So, are you ready for this one? Ball speed, 173.7 miles per hour. 0.1 more than the Stealth 2. Backspin, 2,498 revs. What's that? 5 revs more than the Stealth 2. Unbelievably similar there. And then the carry was 307 yards. 1 yard more. Basically suggesting that the numbers of the Stealth 2 and the original Stealth are the same. They're exactly the same in numbers. There's no difference in distance. And Taylormade didn't say that. Again, Taylormade said forgiveness. They're trying to make sure this club is more forgiving than the original Stealth. Would I say it's more forgiving? No. I couldn't say it's more forgiving. I'd be lying if I said that. In reality, I was hitting both on the simulator. I didn't take both on the golf course, but both on the simulator. And I found the same thing. If I missed centre, it was going offline. It wasn't brilliant for that. The same with the Stealth. If I hit that offline, if I hit that off the centre, it was going offline. I didn't feel like this one was hitting more fairways or closer to the centre line on the grid. It just wasn't the case. So overall, the Stealth 2, it's a good driver. It's long. It looks great. It sounds much better. I enjoyed playing on the golf course. It's a club I could think about putting in the bag. If I was playing competitively, which I don't anymore, I probably wouldn't. I think I'd put it in now because I don't play competitive golf. I just play for fun, and there's not really any pressure when I play anymore. But I would prefer the ping under pressure to this club. I'm not 100% confident I'm going to hit the fairway, and you need to be when playing competitive golf. An overall rating, remember I gave the ping a 4 out of 5 in my ratings. This is tough. I'm going to give it a 4 as well. And it's a different 4 out of 5 than the ping. So the ping was straight, looked good, not quite long enough. This is definitely long enough, looks good, but I just don't think it's straight enough. It's not any better than the ping, but it's not massively worse, if that makes sense. I'm going to give this a 4. I think it's worth a 4. It's a good driver. I couldn't give it less. So I hope you all enjoyed that video. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an insight into what the Stealth 2 is like. Again, it's a good driver. If you're interested in getting this, make sure you get fitted. That's where you're going to see the differences. You're not going to see differences in the distance from last year's to this year's. It's just unrealistic. If you get fitted properly, right shaft, right loft, right head style for you, again, there are 3 different heads with this driver. If you get fitted properly with a good pro, that's where you'll see the distance gains. You buy it off the shelf expecting 20 yards or more forgiveness, it's not going to happen. Go and get fitted. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope this gives you an insight into what this driver's like. And more reviews to come. We've seen all the big drivers come out. I'm going to make sure I'll be able to have them and review them all to give you a good understanding of what those drivers are really like. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon.